Well, it's 7 o'clock, so I guess we can get started. I truly have nothing to say, other than thank you for showing up, we have a quorum. And let's get down to election of officers. All right, I was going to propose that we do again what we did last year, where, hey, look, it ain't broke, don't fix it, if people aren't anxious to get out of it, let's just go with it. And then Gary surprised me by saying that he wants to draw back a little bit from activities and involvement, and he doesn't want to be vice president. So, I guess the first order of business, I don't know how to do this first. Are people opposed to the idea of, okay, so it would be Bonnie, Jack, and I remain in the jobs we have for another year. Unless somebody really wants one of these jobs, and you can have it.
We're good.
You know, see, I didn't
Unanimous
see-
consent.
Yeah, I didn't see people jumping forward with that.
That's the way it is.
So now the next thing is Gary does not want to continue being vice president. And I talked to Mike, and Mike very graciously consented to serve his community in the position of vice president. And is that correct, Gary? Is that correct, Mike? I don't mean to be pushing you into anything. Does that take a nomination or a vote or a unanimous consent, or how do you want to do it? Is there anybody opposed to it? So, no, it's not now. It's too late now. All right, then I guess it's unanimous consent
Good.
that Mike is vice president.
All right, thank you.
Wow,
What is that?
a credit card.
Oh, you got.
Well, now wait a minute, mister. Roads Committee.
You gotta be an officer to have that. I'm not an officer.
Oh,
You don't waste any time.
You are until,
Yeah.
right now.
Right now?
that's right.
Oh, is this?
It should have happened in July, yes. So it's now.
Oh, yeah, you're jumping into the fire
That's
here.
right, the reimbursement still works. It's not a
Okay.
problem.
Alright.
Yeah, well, anyway, we'll figure out
I'm
what to
gonna
do
put
with
it in
that.
George.
All right, so I guess that's it. There's no public, so we don't have to worry about public comment. How about approval of July minutes?
So moved.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any, no opposed? Okay, so we've accepted the July minutes. Office update.
Okay, the picture I just took is the new website. If you've gone on it in the last day, you'll see that it's changed. I had a phone call from GoDaddy, and same price, actually a few dollars cheaper. A new, I guess it's called a platform. They were putting out a new platform, and it's nice. I've spent the last 2 weeks migrating everything, and it looks more professional. And once I got the hang of it, it was pretty simple. Some things I'm not real happy with, but that's all right. It's a website. So anyway, there's a lot more, pictures and so on, and so I wanted to get a picture of the board because I highlighted meetings and so on. So that's what that was for. With that. So we all know I've been looking at computers, and I went into Best Buy this morning and spoke with a gentleman there named Brandon. I found a couple of HP computers on their website, on HP's website, and different parameters and so on. And I keep going back and forth with regard to what we need. I know some basic things we need. It needs to operate more than one monitor. It needs to have an SSD, solid state hard drive, and so on. The question is, how big of a solid state
Well,
hard
I
drive?
just, yeah.
And that's what
And do we really need it? That's the
Well-
other question. Did you talk to him about that?
Yes, and I watched that video, and the man on the video, which I sent around the link to, said 256 because 128 is kind of a waste because you load your operating system on it, and there really isn't enough room to load anything else on it, and so on. But I mentioned that to Brandon, and he said, well, in the two systems that I looked at and took into him to see if they could sell, the one is the 256 gig hard drive, SSD drive is the primary drive in that system, meaning that's where the Windows would be loaded. The other system that I looked at and printed out is 128 gig, but it's not the primary drive. So the operating system would be loaded onto the hard drive, the old-fashioned hard drive. He said 16 gig of memory is ample because, you know, I thought that seemed low, but I guess these days it's not. The video ports, the DP, I don't remember what that stands for.
DVI and,
DVI-S or HDMI and DP, I guess.
yeah.
So he said the DP really is the best, and he said because it's not part of the graphics card, so that if your graphics go, you know, you can replace your graphics card, you don't lose your video capability. And I said, well, I've never heard of a graphics card going, but okay. I mean, you know, they don't, how often do they go?
How often
So,
do you use one?
well, graphics.
How often do you do graphics?
Correct.
Graphics mean just the picture that you're looking at.
No,
Okay,
well,
you do
no, it's
graphics. Well, not gaming graphics, not those kinds of graphics, but just graphics in general. You need to have a graphics card for
Newsletter stuff.
I've never heard of
a
one.
video. No, I haven't either. Exactly. So, I know, and of course, he's trying to sell us the most expensive thing he can. As far as HP, or as far as matching the price goes, it depends on the manager on duty at the time.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that nice? So when I found it online, you know, we're looking at anywhere from about $800 on up to $1,100, depending on all these different little nuances. In Best Buy, the one that's $11.99 directly from HP is $13.89 at Best Buy. They might match the price, like I said, depending on the manager. The one that I found for $7.99 with 128 gig SDD is $9.29 at Best Buy.
What brand is that?
HP. And I told him I really didn't want to look at Dell, and I understand that you can get a good or a bad computer no matter what brand you're buying. That makes sense too. I looked at Lenovo online, and I looked at Dell just to get prices. And comparable Dell is $1,099, a comparable Lenovo is $1,599, which really surprised me.
I thought they were supposed to go in.
That's the,
was it
Yeah, that's-
Chinese in your
it's
bag?
all, yeah, it's Chinese, it's all
It's
those,
Chinese, but it's IBM.
It's
Yeah,
still-
that's-
still-
but it's still Chinese.
The legacy of IBM.
Yeah.
Right.
That
So
is true.
I guess it's a question of how
Did
much.
you look at
do I
Amazon? I mean, or,
Amazon, I did, and that's where I actually started was Amazon, and now it's been so long.
So
I ended up at HP.
What did Best Buy
no,
say
I mean
about?
Well,
Amazon as far as
Oh, as far as these two?
getting like an HP or whatever you,
No, I didn't. That's a good idea. I started, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I started at Amazon, and that very first initial email I sent saying, oh, this is the one, I discovered, oh, it can only take one monitor. So then I went from Amazon just trying to get some parameters to go with. So I didn't think to go back to Amazon and price these two there. They will install for $40, whether we buy it there or not, which I thought was
Oh.
good. That includes configuring my printer and loading my software.
Wow, that's great.
That really
That's a great
surprises
price.
it's not bad.
So tell me what to do. I
I mean,
don't
if
know
you-
what to do.
Well, if you could get them to match the price, I mean, that would be,
Okay,
but I can't see spending $200 to $400 more just for the luxury of dealing with them.
no, I can't either.
You know, yeah,
I agree.
if they match the price, fine, but before you do that, see what it would cost on Amazon.
I'll check
Just
Amazon
And if
and.
if Amazon is less, then see if they'll match Amazon's price.
There you go.
No,
And if they don't, well, then go with,
So then are we saying?
Well,
How about, wait a minute, did you check, you should check Costco and
BJ's,
BJ's.
I was thinking
Two.
that too.
Okay,
they're, yeah,
Because Costco gives you a forever guarantee.
oh, really?
You're not a Costco member though, are you?
No,
Well, I am.
Could be.
where's the nearest Costco around here?
Walmart.
Walmart.
Oh, I was about to say.
Yeah, but it's all
And it-
Costco online, they ship it to you, just
Oh,
like
yeah, that's right,
Amazon.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
you can take it back to Costco for a full refund.
That's right.
BJ's is pretty limited on what they carry.
Costco has some limits too.
They
So
probably-
might not have.
Because what they do typically is, in order to get the prices that they are able to sell at, is they'll buy lots in a specific configuration.
Mhm.
And they're usually fairly mundane
Yeah.
systems. I mean, they'll step up a little bit, but
Yeah,
when you talked to him, did he explain to you, given the kind of system that you operate here,
Mhm.
what this SSD will do for you?
Just, it would give me more speed and,
Yeah, but,
no, he really didn't.
okay.
No.
See, there's a difference between more speed if you're gaming and you're
Right.
doing lots of network kind of stuff and all that.
Which I'm not.
But if you're just doing office applications,
Mhm.
then I wonder, you know, what are you really getting out of
Right.
this so-called speed?
So maybe the
That's-
lower end, the 128 gig?
Well,
Or are you saying no
I don't know.
SSD at all?
Well,
Kind of thought that was one thing we decided way in the beginning was something we
but
should
that's
do.
why I'm asking, what does it really do for us? Maybe I need to go back and
It's-
look at that.
That video,
But-
that's the only thing I looked at, and it's, you know, that man explained it, that it's, you know, there's no moving parts, it doesn't get fragmented because of that.
That's a
Like
big
the old
plus.
hard drives,
Yeah,
Right.
fragmentation.
they operate faster.
Well, that maybe
That's
that's enough. I
basically
mean,
it.
that-
but that, what do you mean
That
you
I-
can't load the operating system on the, you can
It's
choose
not that
where
you
you're.
can't, you can, but that's not how it will come loaded. And you would have to have it done that way. And, you know, you would have to either know how to do that. I don't know how to direct it.
Look at a techie.
It comes preloaded.
It comes
I haven't bought one in a
preloaded,
long time where you didn't have to load one. No, that's not true, my last one was preloaded.
so it comes the 128 would come preloaded on the hard drive.
Yeah, but they also
Yeah.
ship it with
Yeah.
with a disk, so you could load it yourself and erase it on the other. I'm just thinking out loud, sorry.
Yeah, it could be done. I didn't mean to, because I asked him, I said, could I load it onto the SD? He said, oh yes, it's just that it wouldn't come that way. So,
Well, if you're gonna do it, it should be on the
Well,
SSD, because that's where all your action is.
Right.
Yeah.
that's what it would make sense to me.
If they're gonna install it, would that include moving that
I don't
way?
know. I
That
would
would
think
be good.
anything extra would be extra.
It might not be that much extra.
True.
Like Gary said, it's pretty easy to.
So for $40 they'll
That's what he said. I said, does that include software? Yes,
transferring everything, your
Everything.
data from the existing to,
everything.
Yeah, but
seems so cheap.
that's
I know.
that's not coming here, you know, that's.
Well, you know, I thought about that when I got here. I thought, does he
If you
realize?
bring it in,
I
then
said
you come
configure
He's
my
gotta come
printer.
here
To
to.
configure the printer. I said I
Well,
have
that's what I
a,
mean, if the,
exactly
I
right.
can't believe they would come travel for.
But I'm
$45.
wondering if he understood when I said, does that mean you will configure my printer? I said, I have a printer that has a router so that it speaks directly to Kyocera. I said, does that include configuring that? And he said, yes.
Yeah, well,
So it didn't occur to me to say, do I have to bring it all in there? Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
But that is a good question. I wonder if he understood really what I was asking. Okay, so I'll see. It just grows.
Scope creep here.
Yes.
It's like that monster on Stranger Things. Is anybody?
Yeah.
It's so good of you to bring this up.
So I'll see if if I can get anybody to match prices, but do we think the 128 gig is ample? As long as I can have two.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think that doesn't impact the monitors, that's just a matter.
No, my son-in-law actually said any new computer you buy is going to be able to have two monitors. So, yeah, the one said it couldn't, so, okay. That was years ago when I first started this.
Well, yeah, but now, I mean, I think you're gonna find that they're gonna have some combination of
Ports.
HDMI,
Mhm.
DVI,
Right.
and/or the
The
data,
Right.
what do they call it?
I don't remember what
The
that
new
stands
printer,
for.
the new protocol.
Yeah. So, okay, I will continue. DisplayPort is what that stands for.
DisplayPort.
Yeah, DisplayPort. I will continue, and that's all I have.
Very good. All right, why don't we just go right around the table? Jeff's not here for action items. You want to take that and we'll get to you, Gary?
Yeah.
All right. Mike, anything? Asha?
Nothing?
Jack?
Nothing, I went through the budget with you today, everything looks within parameters, so no surprises.
Rita, anything more?
Just the welcoming committee, I distributed 2 buckets, and I've got 2 left in the back. And we'll need, there's 2 There's supplies for, I think, in the bag for two more.
Yeah, we need what,
Um,
six? Yeah.
Maybe I've distributed them. Anyway, so at some point, maybe Cindy thought when she gets back from Colorado,
Okay,
maybe we can step in there for Jen.
yeah. I don't think she's gonna be in by
She'll be in
But did-
Yeah,
Does she still have to do a written request to Ace for the buckets now?
I've got, I think, 6 or 7 still back there.
last time she got a lot. and last
I know
time
she
got
did.
it.
Okay.
Ace is out of buckets at the moment from there.
They had
Oh,
that
that's
special
right, we
thing.
had that.
Isn't it the thing with the-
Or did they
So
actually?
responsible.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty
Oh,
successful.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it always is, the last couple of years. I meant to go and I didn't.
Yeah, I meant to go too, I saw their flyers, you don't wanna go, I'm like,
How do you-
Is it? I had one from a couple of years ago.
I have one that I got from the Ace Hardware that does the same thing, they have the same, they must have all been doing the same.
Yeah, it's an ace thing.
All right, Gary, I guess
It's okay.
paving and erosion, or?
Yeah, well, let's start with paving. The, I sent an email around, everybody see it?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Mhm.
Yes.
About the payment.
Because I don't remember the numbers, to tell you the truth.
That's
You don't have to have the numbers handy.
Yeah,
Not that
there's
it's
slip
that
of
big
paper
of a
on
deal.
my desk, but maybe they're right
The salient point is, Jeff and I talked about it at length, and some of the things we talked about, and I have some notes here. The low bidder was aggregate, and aggregate didn't come to the pre-bid, and as a result, missed some of the add-on things that Jeff brought out at the pre-bid, and guaranteed it's not part of the bid, and they're gonna want more money.
Price lower.
That's number one. Number two, they are also the people that have been working for the state, and they've done such a great job, they had to repay portions. So, also, Jeff has worked with them before, and he has a bad taste in his mouth. Don't take that personally. And,
Have a double scotch.
sure, really, wash it right away. And of course, Great Mills, we've worked with for years, and we know them really well. They're easy, they're responsive, easy to work with.
Well, they were about the.
They're second.
Second.
They were sort of middle
Yeah.
bidder anyway.
Yeah.
So the recommendation from Jeff and I would be to go with Great Mills. So I would move that we accept the bid from Great Mills. But before we vote on that, keep in mind that that is not the entire cost. Remember, that's the bid. It's like a budget. If we put down more asphalt for some reason, it's gonna make
It's
it
a kind
higher.
of materials type of bid.
It is, yes, but it's gonna be this much, based on this much asphalt.
Right.
If we put in more or less,
Mhm.
it'll be adjusted accordingly. Also, Jeff gets a slice. It's typically 10%,
12%.
12, 10, whatever it is, it's more to pay, that's how he gets paid. So that's, whatever the final bill is, it'll be that much more. Now, having said that, I was concerned about money, so Rhea and Jeff and I, Jeff was standing there, he wasn't really involved. We pulled up all the numbers, and the county's got 200, and what was it again?
251,000.
251,000 in the county, and 60-some thousand or more in Covenant.
The covenant account.
In other words, we've got plenty of money.
There's plenty of money, just isn't budgeted.
Now, understand, we still
There's
have
152,000.
in the Covenant. Yeah, but remember, the winter's coming, and what happens in the winter? It snows, and when it snows, you never know what it's gonna be. One year was $130,000. So this year, last one was what, 40-some thousand.
Something like that.
So you never know what it's gonna be. But there's plenty of money to cover it. We're in good shape for capital expenditures. So my motion is to accept Great Mills bid, and we will have to write letters explaining why we didn't go with the low cost bid, which we will do.
You want the
Second.
numbers? Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? So be it.
Okay, great. Now, the other thing is, the erosion committee really gave our report at the last meeting, didn't we? And wasn't that voted on?
Yeah.
I think the erosion committee's job is done, it should be disbanded,
Well, why?
because now it's in the hands of the,
Well,
Oh,
you
the
know,
planning
the-
of the board.
yeah, but you know, but there are a couple other issues, I think, I don't know if the erosion control committee thought about them, but I think it's part of their bailiwick. For example, some of these DPPOA beach access points, the one that I'm thinking of specifically is the one at the causeway, right by the
Yeah,
Kirby
right, on the
property.
German property, yeah.
That is
That's
like, you know,
terrible.
we've got a sign there that
It's like
says
lake, you know,
BPPOA
you can't get
beach
out.
access, and you gotta be a mountain goat to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
down
yeah,
there.
it's very
And,
dangerous,
You
very
know,
dangerous.
either we take down the sign, or we do something to fix it.
Make it accessible, which is not now.
You know, or then
And
the
what
other,
happens is a lot of people will walk across the Kerman's yard.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
not
well,
right.
we
Yeah,
shouldn't,
that's
we
not
shouldn't be
right
encouraging
either.
that either.
We should do our part, so.
Yeah.
But now the next question is, whose property is that? Is that our property?
I would think so. I mean, that beach access thing?
Yeah.
It's always.
Between the high water mark, yeah, it's clearly our property.
Well, and I
Okay,
This
recall,
is, it's our right of
I
way.
recall a few years ago, because there's an issue with that curve, the way the road is on the right of way and the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
I think we have some type of a transfer of that from Rispin's to us, so that we would have access, and so that their yard was their yard and not our right of way. Does that make sense?
But it's
Yep.
on the other side of the road though, isn't it? I mean, is it relevant to this, or maybe I'm not.
You're both
Yeah, I
right.
don't really understand.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
It's a-
there was a deal,
it's a
that's
special
right, it was a
case.
transfer of property
Yeah.
to allow that road to be put in.
Oh, you mean,
And the deal was
the
the
road, you mean
residents
the
would,
Causeway Road?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see, I see.
that little less turn.
Okay, I thought you meant the part, the beach access piece.
Yeah, no, but the beat, yeah,
So then
we-
that ceded, I guess, that portion as an easement to the association is my understanding.
So now, if that is ours, and that's,
Easement,
Well, not an easement, but that area, that became ours.
yes, right, it's our property.
well, that's not an easement then, that's.
You're
our
right,
property.
I used the wrong
Yeah.
word.
It's a-
But then, okay, if that's there and that's an access point, is it part, would it be considered feasible, or is it part of the erosion control committee's mandate to do something about that?
I don't see how.
It used to be better
Well-
before it eroded out, for one
It's
thing.
clearly bailiwick of the board, but I don't,
But then
but the
who?
erosion committee was to understand how to stop the erosion.
In the beach, yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'm trying to do mission creep. You
Yeah.
know. But then who would take on fixing that access?
We would.
We,
The roads committee?
Yeah, the roads committee or some, or the board in general,
Roads could do it. I mean,
Yeah,
they
roads,
would
it's
have
part
the
of-
equipment
would
to,
be
you know, they have those
adjacent to
big
the.
boulders.
All right,
there, those
okay,
big-
well then,
Could be
you
a
know,
project.
how do people feel about, we asked the roads committee to look at that specific
I think it's a good idea.
access point and come up with a recommendation of how we can make it.
I
Fit
look-
for
I
units.
have looked at it many times. I'm not sure we can do anything without affecting the road.
Well,
Um,
There's
can't
no
we just,
room.
yeah, but can't, no, but rather
The
than
mean
that,
high
can't
water
we?
mark is right there.
Yeah, but can't we just get like riprap and put it in and
But there's
sort of
riprap
level
in
it
there.
and
Or
then
some
put in?
kind of concrete steps down or
Oh,
something.
is the county gonna let us do concrete steps?
That'd be
What
perfect.
about a little footbridge?
They'll let you with a permit.
How long are you gonna take to get a permit?
Right.
Do we see it before we die?
When you start to say riprap, then you're talking Corps of Engineers too.
Well, the thing with it, there is currently riprap, and that's the problem. is
The
it-
problem,
Yeah,
Used
yeah,
to be
and
nice
it's really
sandy-
all over,
used
because
to
I
be a
walk on
nice-
it every
Yeah,
day.
it used to be a nice sandy access when I
Well,
first moved
maybe-
here.
maybe-
So, you know where Lake,
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
Leave it on roads and we'll come back.
Lakeview
to
Yeah,
and
it.
yeah, yeah,
Terrace.
yeah, leave it on roads, let them, let
Yeah.
so you know
them,
where
they
the house
understand the
is?
vocabulary.
Now we have
There's a
something to
Kerman
do.
yard,
Yeah,
and then there's that.
leave it to the roads
you're
committee.
not talking about the community beach, you're talking about.
No,
Yeah, no.
no.
Okay.
It's on Lakeview and Lake Terrace,
It's-
and there's like a champagne tree with butterflies right there. Yeah, and there's like a beach access,
There's hardly anywhere.
and,
Like when I
Because the
was-
riprap is right next to
Go
it.
to where the,
There was
the Kerman
no
house is.
riprap there.
Yeah, and it's right
And it
there,
was just a nice
it's right there where the
Incline,
corner
right.
starts
hard packed dirt.
for the causeway.
It's washed away.
I know, that's why it's erosion, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's another erosion.
Well, the,
Yeah,
no,
should
we'll
be
leave it
right.
to
So it's
roads.
right,
Leave it to roads, yeah.
so it's right here,
Lake Place.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
right here.
And it was very.
Yeah, it's
easy
Lake
to
Place,
access, and that
and it
was-
turns, it's where Lake
Yeah,
Place turns
it's
into
a
Bay
bitch, I
Drive.
know.
And I
I've
can't-
looked at it
Lake
many
Place
times.
turns into Bay Drive.
Go down
Yeah,
there.
so it's
Really?
right here,
What made me look at it.
and
is
there's
I
a little
watched
area
this
where you can walk down here, the Kerman's house is right here, yeah.
overweight person.
Yeah,
trying to get down there.
But it's all, like, there's riprap there, but it's all
Well, it
like
didn't have to be
jumbled,
overweight, but-
and people, what they're
So I
doing,
stopped and looked at it.
if this is like really
All right, so,
impassable, they end up walking through the
all
current
right, so we're,
which is not right.
We should do
With
something.
roads.
we're
So
agreed, it's with
committee will
roads,
need to talk
the
about
roads
it.
committee is gonna come up with a suggestion on
Wait,
that,
a minute,
okay?
I didn't get rid of this at all, did I?
No, you didn't.
But you have common ground knowledge of it, we actually looked at
That's
it,
right.
and you
See
saw
what
how
we did
dangerous
right
it
there?
was.
I am
That was
aware,
very good.
I am aware.
Actually, I mean, right now, it's a
Well, now
little,
you don't, now you
it's a
don't
little
have
better than it
Now you
was.
don't have the
Thank
beach,
you,
you
thank
still
you for
have,
taking that on.
but you'll have
That
plenty of
beach-
time. now
That
that you
beach
have
access is a
everything.
little better than it was. The beginning of the summer, it was horrible because there was like grass that was like 3
Oh,
feet high.
oh,
So not only did you have the, the riprap and everything, but you couldn't get down there because of the tall grass. Like, we didn't go down there until it was cut. But now it's like clear through there, but
It's dangerous.
it's still
oh. But we
dangerous.
have, we have solved it.
Yeah.
Is action passed, is an action complete?
Erosion control is
Yeah,
no
Is
longer.
it our responsibility to provide access to every bit of sand that's adjacent to Drum Point?
No, but it's our
I mean-
duty to, for these
But-
things that we label beach access.
Let me
To actually
speak to
have
that.
beach access.
Yeah.
When Kerman drew up the plans for Drum Point, he put access to water all over the damn place. There's one right across from your house. That road is supposed to be access to the water. There's one up here, it's right here, runs out to this creek. There's one down here.
This one on,
And he put them around, they were there on
So they
purpose,
have
and
to
there are
do-
actual easements
Okay.
involved in those places that I just pointed out, and others that I didn't get. One, like, Lake, right here also.
yeah.
Yeah, there's one at the end of our
They're all over the
main
place.
area.
And there's one,
There's one right up here
there's
too.
one, there's where Pine Place.
There's one right in here, right here, see that?
Oh, okay, yeah, wow.
But trying to get down that,
Yeah,
that's worse than this one. Anyway, they're all over the place. Some of them we deemed, when we looked into this 4 or 5
Years ago, Sandberg was in Willis.
Yeah, we decided, well, we're not gonna do anything with those because they're just too hard to do. There used to actually be a boardwalk here that's all rotted and
Oh, I
gone.
didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a walkway. And it went,
Oh, that's the
From-
Barton property, isn't it?
yeah, well, it was close to it, yeah. But it's rotted out and it's not usable. There's only remnants of it. So someplace we decided, well, God, that's kind of silly, and what are you gonna do when you get down there anyway? There's no place to go because the creek is so much higher
The beach
now.
is no longer
No
there.
place to go, you can't walk on the shore. So and then we picked these few, we put up a sign. There's only 4 of them, I think, altogether.
3 or 4.
I know, three.
There's one by the club, by Drum Point Club.
Yep, it's
The
right
River
here.
Terrace, yeah.
And there's the one at Surf.
Yeah, that's the one close to where we
Here,
are.
yeah,
And the one near the Kerman property.
and the stairway,
Bayview
Yeah.
Bay.
and there's 4.
Yes.
Anyway, well, the roads committee will look at it and convene and talk about it and give you a report.
Good.
Excuse me.
From one bureaucrat to another, wonderful, thank you.
So is erosion control committee is?
No, it's roads, oh, yeah, the
No, I'm
road,
saying it's
Yeah.
disbanded.
Well, when we
because
get to
you've done
this,
your-
when we get to doing the
Yeah.
reformation, I'll talk about it. If it's not a standing committee and it hasn't had meetings, I'm not sure we should have a committee. We reconvene
Are you talking about?
No, but-
erosion?
any committee.
But there still needs to be discussion about
We will. Yeah, we'll-
next steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right, so then we're up to Bonnie.
Nothing.
Nothing, okay, wonderful. Old business. Do we have any old business?
Just go in there.
We have some new business. Well, let's reaffirm the committees first. Is that somebody pulling in and coming in first?
Get in the car.
It's taking forever. What are we, 105 years old?
We should have
It's
been
not Pete, is it?
adjourned.
He's in.
It's a white Acura, I don't know what it is.
My daughter.
Was it the library maybe?
Yeah, maybe they're doing the library.
I have a hard time getting out of the car.
Anyway, you have, for this committees for reaffirmation, you have 2 lists. The one without any yellow marks is the old one, the current, as they exist today. And they probably haven't been updated in a couple of years. Their names on all of these things that, they just aren't around anymore. And then the new one is the one that has yellow, the highlights, and the highlighted names are the ones that are new. Other names have disappeared. I see, Mike, they put you down on the planning committee, and when I talked to you, we only talked about roads.
Right.
Do you have any objection to be on the planning committee? It in theory only meets once a year.
That's fine.
All right, so any other questions?
Come on in, Vince.
Come in,
Right on, you guys?
come in.
We are in the middle of the meeting, so we'll have, if you wanna wait for a bit, we'll,
Yeah, we're almost done.
Straight on, yeah. You going way outside?
No, you can-
You can, public can join.
Nothing else.
I'm not public.
but this will be the place where Gary says, we have committees that aren't active. The erosion committee has
Yes.
fulfilled its thing, and I did not, being the chair of that committee, I didn't disband it. But these are committees that, when they've done their task, they should go away, and you make a new committee as you need it.
What you'll notice on the new sheet, there is no erosion control committee.
So the erosion committee is disbanded.
So is there any comments, questions, positive, negative? Yes, ma'am.
My comment, what I meant with regard to erosion control is we still need to figure out the procedure, where do we go next? We have to
For the
get permits for the beach.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an erosion control committee.
Okay, I'm just
and
saying
that's
it needs
now-
to
I
be
think that's now a
somewhere
board.
on the agenda somehow.
Yeah,
So we don't
just
like,
on the
oh,
agenda.
forget about it.
Yeah, but that now becomes a board issue.
So what anything else that has to do with erosion in general could be scooped under the environment.
Okay.
And Rita's-
There's fine.
maybe after we finish this, we can discuss that.
I mean,
That would make
I don't know
sense.
what those things would be, but.
That
Well,
would
yeah,
make sense.
we'll figure
Or you
that
could
out.
create-
I just want to make sure it doesn't get left
Right,
off. somewhere.
right.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, because the permits question and exactly what we're gonna do and all of that, that's the next step.
Right.
But anyway, I do agree with Gary, I think the erosion control committee as a committee is probably done.
So move to approve the new list as is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay, there we go, we've done that. Now, we have a quitclaim to discuss. Rhea, you know more about this quitclaim than anybody else.
Well, I think
Why don't
Mike Snap probably.
you- Oh, Mike
about
wants
it.
to talk about it.
This is your neighbor, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but this was your neighbor who came in, your recommendation. They already have their, is it a pier or just revetment or what have you? They're not-
They've
They're not really looking to do
got
anything.
a pier on each
A
property.
pier. So they're not really looking to do anything, I
No.
don't believe. They just were talking with you, Mike, who said, well, you really should have a quitclaim. So we're just looking to approve the quitclaim so that they can, I think they're gonna go to Tom Pelagati, I suggested, because he's done it before. So I guess all that is needed is a motion to approve the quitclaim. It's
And
something that's been done several times.
Many times. Everybody understand what a quick claim is?
Tell me what he wants to do, what he.
Well, they don't wanna do anything. The waterfront owners, there's essentially an easement
Yeah.
along the waterfront. It might run anywhere from 6 to 15 foot, depending on the shape of the lot and everything. Well, so that's not counted in your square footage of your lot, okay? So when it comes time to, like we did, when you want to remodel your house or something, and they say, what's your footprint? And how much, what's the plat say of your square footage in your property? And you come up a little short, where you find out, lo and behold, Drum Point doesn't really want that. I mean, we don't want to maintain that water frontage. So you quit claim, and the owner then takes, files the necessary stuff to get it transferred.
It's not a full quick claim. It's only a quick claim for the riparian rights.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
right.
So that the property owner can exercise their riparian rights to put up a bulkhead or a pier or
But,
whatever.
but that square footage then gets added to your lot, so now, whatever you wanna do, maybe it's a little lower percentage, just that,
Okay, I get it.
that's what happened.
Thank you.
Okay,
It also increases your
That-
taxes.
Well, yeah, but if you
Mine.
wanna build,
Not
if
sure
you
about
wanna,
the
if you wanna
the
increase your
bundle
property.
of sticks that are in the rights to a piece of property are a bunch of things, including riparian rights, and gas and oil rights, and there's a lot of different rights involved, and we're only giving them the riparian rights. They don't have to be simple. I don't know that, if it's being added, that's incorrect. Should not be.
Well, I don't know,
If it's been
COA,
done, fine, but
yeah, I mean, COA did it, re-surveyed it and filed the paperwork and the county
approved it.
approved it.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, we're not, that's not what we've been giving up in this.
Well, why would we not wanna give it up? What would we do with that?
Because we don't have the right as a board to do that. Takes a general membership to vote on that, and when we took it to the general membership, they only approved the ability to quit claim the riparian rights. That's why. Just saying.
Well, I guess in this case, I mean, if we can approve it or disapprove it.
Well, without the riparian rights, they don't own the dock or anything along
Right.
that shoreline.
Right.
So they need that.
Yeah, they need the repair.
So that if we give them that, and then they can do with it whatever
Yeah,
they
that's
want.
it,
They
yeah.
can talk them, the county into counting it on their, or whatever.
If they want to, it's, that,
I don't think they,
we don't care really, we just can't do it.
I don't, in their case, I don't think they need to. It was just a matter of acquiring the,
It comes into play when people go to sell and
hey,
and the title company is smart enough to figure it out.
right.
Many times they aren't.
So somebody should make a motion to approve the
So
plan
moved.
request?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let it be done. All right. Well, we basically are out of business, but we have a public for a comment.
And we'll let, because I don't want to hold Vince up, but we should talk about next steps for the beach.
Yeah, but we'll go ahead, Vince.
Recorder on or recorder off?
Report some.
Well, then I'll talk about it afterwards.
Oh,
Because what I have to talk about is gonna be a little contentious because of the individual that was down there, the way that he was conducting himself on the adjacent property to Drum Point.
oh, well then let's talk about,
Can we
Okay.
say what the next meeting's gonna be?
For our meeting?
Yeah, our
Oh,
meeting.
yeah.
I will be gone. I wasn't thinking when I scheduled my vacation.
yes, we were.
You-
The
It was
the first
It's the day after Labor Day.
Is the day after Labor Day, so I don't know if we wanted,
Well, yeah,
We could
exactly.
bounce it.
yeah, we could, yeah,
Probably should bounce it.
because.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Bounce it
they'll
to the
bounce it.
10th?
We can do the 10th.
September 10th.
We can do that.
Tenth it is?
Okay. Gary, what did you want
Well, there are additional steps required for, to enact the recommendation of the committee in regard to the beach, to retain and rejuvenate or whatever is gonna happen with the beach. And to do that, I think, because the price tag's gonna be significant. And it might even be a multi-year event. I think we need to take it to the general membership, make presentations. I know we've already talked about it once, but we didn't make an actual presentation. I think it should be presented to the general membership, and let them know, keep them appraised of what the cost is gonna be as we work through it, and we get a price. The point is, we gotta engage the general membership.
But first, I think, don't we formally have to talk to the Drum Point Club and get them to agree that we can do it?
Can
Neighbors on both sides,
can I
really.
ask you a question, Tony?
That's part of the
If-
permit, I think.
If,
Yeah, but I
Oh,
mean,
really? So if
because
we-
they are, you know, we are them and they are us.
Oh, that's why we
Yeah,
had
but-
somebody on the board for
right, but
that.
if they decided they didn't want to do it, then are we hamstrung and can't do anything? I
We
don't
may
believe
not be
that's
able,
true.
we may not be able to get a permit if they don't agree with us doing it.
That's
But
true.
It would depend on what we would do if we couldn't get them to go along.
Well, if,
I mean, we should consider that.
if we can't get the permit,
I
then
don't think
I-
it's
No, I'm not saying
Except
that, I'm
up
saying,
sand.
I'm saying
Yeah.
what we want to do. What can we do that will do them, I mean, if they decide they don't want to play along?
then all we can do is dump sand on the beach, which is a
You can't
never
put a
ending.
breakwater out there?
Nope.
It would affect them,
Yep, and we gotta get the other neighbor to go along with us too.
on the other side,
But I think that neighbor
be glad to.
would be glad to do it, but, because, you know, it is gonna potentially benefit him too.
So what, if you don't know about this, we've been looking at, trying to find ways to not just retain the beach because it's been washing away, but to try to rebuild it, accrete sand. And we're talking about a V-shaped breakwater out, some distance out to
Do
the
you
area.
usually,
But
I
it's-
invite you guys to come to sit at my house,
Yeah.
sit on the deck, we have mimosas, you sit and watch these fishing boats going out, on ass, excuse me, in the morning, and the waves are breaking right in there where you see where the trees are falling down.
Yeah.
And it's, I've been saying, Rita, hey, Rita, no trees falling, hey, Rita, no trees falling. Okay, so,
Okay, that's really all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
Make
no,
sure
no,
all
that,
this
yeah,
is
that
okay.
makes
So-
sense.
When you say presentation, are you saying presentation at the September meeting?
Yeah.
Or do we have
The
time
next
to?
couple meetings, in fact, every meeting, we're gonna have to talk about
I
that.
don't think the presentation at the September meeting is gonna be able to be fully blown.
But it can
It's
be
gonna be a
conceptual.
concept,
I
yeah,
mean, right.
a concept.
Yeah.
Here's
sort of
what we're thinking about
presentation.
doing, and
Yeah, and then, but then we have
be a
to,
surprise.
Will we have numbers at the September meeting?
no, because we don't know, we don't have a clue. We have to talk to a
But we
couple of
have-
contractors and see what it's.
But all the stuff you guys did, that when you saw these other possibilities and things that are happening elsewhere, I think that could be presented just
I'll
to
make
show.
a suggestion on that, on
Sure.
the same point. My sister's ex-boyfriend, Carmichael, owned a cliff house in the ranch club. I did a little research and found out that FEMA, please don't say that name again. I say room 3 times. Anyway, I did a little research kind of on his behalf because of the beetle issue, that you can't go in there and do anything to disturb the beetle pull up. So I found out that FEMA would be able to step in and rescue him and his house and reimburse him for his house removal, everything. He even got the contractor to remove the house. That's how he got out of that property, and he got paid for it. Top market dollar, about $780,000. And then he got the removal fee of maybe $300,000. Removed the property, everything was there. So I'm bringing that up only because I think you can tie the beach erosion to the same theory and get FEMA to possibly step in and grant you all money. So I will be willing to do some research on my time, as well as if anybody else wants to do as well, and see if we can't get FEMA or even, because everything I've been reading about this mean high water tide line and blah, 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 the state is responsible for the erosion of the shoreline because they own it all the way up to the shore. And, you know, however it breaks over, how far they break over. But I haven't been able to find the geological maps where they pinpointed where, but, so the state's in essence responsible
They
for
won't do it.
that erosion, they manage it. But they will if FEMA starts standing on their neck.
All right.
That's my thought. Because
Interesting.
FEMA turned around and got right on that from the apartment within a month.
But that was
But that was a house.
because it was a dwelling
Yeah.
and all that, no.
And there were
I'd
several.
be surprised if FEMA would step in on something.
Beach, yeah.
But
You know, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
right, only because if that beach gives way, there's homes in there that could potentially be lost.
Yeah, long term, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I've been watching that beach eroded over a period of 2 years, and it's gone away a lot,
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, that's very
So,
good.
and it's getting more significant because of more traffic. Anyway, just.
Well, no, but if there's a possibility of getting
Yeah.
funding somewhere.
We need to start looking into permits and stuff.
Yeah, we gotta, the other thing we gotta look at, we gotta talk to some contractors and see exactly what they recommend, exactly how far out do we wanna put it, exactly what size do we want it.
And don't they do the permitting requests? We don't know what kind of permits are.
Well, they can.
They know, they
can.
know the ins and outs.
You
and,
pay them.
Well, better, isn't it better to pay somebody so we know we have the right permits and everybody's
I
signed
agree. I
off
think
on it
you're right,
versus,
yeah.
oh, I didn't know that was needed, you
Yeah,
know?
also the FEMA and also the state engineers will be able to help that, and the DNR
sure,
geological folks. They'll help with that and work with whoever contractor you all of a sudden.
Well, the other thing too, and this is maybe way over the top, but if there's enough erosion, so it eroded into the Drum Point Lake, and all that water, I don't know what would happen with that water in the
It
house.
would
if it's
become another lagoon for the.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, I don't know if that would jeopardize the existing properties that are around the lake, maybe that, maybe.
That's what I was saying.
You know, I
That's
remember,
the
I
exact
don't
same
know,
thing.
that's something, another angle, even if
Right.
it seems far-fetched.
I remember years ago, I hadn't been here very long, Hurricane Isabel had gone through, took out the causeway in '03, and I started the following year, so it hadn't been permanently replaced yet. So we were in the process of getting permits for that. Bob Pattison and I, you remember Bob, went up to Annapolis and met with DNR people, Tabbits and some of them, to get permission, and, because they had to determine whether or not we had the Beagle, you know, if that was gonna be an issue, which we did not, and it was not. But that, so I don't know. I'm just remembering that, you know, it took a lot of meetings and so on.
So maybe the first, next step is, Maria, you need to call Annapolis and find out who the hell to go talk to.
Maybe so, yeah.
Start with
With that,
DNR.
yeah.
DNR's gonna have to approve, how's it start with?
Or Schwartz, John Schwartz.
John Schwartz would be a good place to
Yeah,
start.
he's just the county.
But he could
But
direct me
but he
on where
might,
to
but he
go.
may know, you know, who to,
Yeah.
he's connected to a lot of up and down, so.
I can touch some databases that work and see if I can get a hold of some FEMA contacts.